7 years ago, I met OrbitalPotato sitting down to play some modded Minecraft with our two close friends. Today, we get him on the podcast. My friends, hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Indie Peace podcast. Today, I got a good one for you. We have a brilliant talk with my dear close friend, OrbitalPotato, fellow content creator covering strategy games, automation games, incremental games, all kinds of different games in that space. I've known Orbital for a long time at this point. We're incredibly close friends. I went to his wedding. It is just a pleasure to have him on the podcast today and explore his brain in the content creating space, see how he got his start here on YouTube, see where his channel is going in the future. I really had a vision when I made this podcast to have kind of episodes that alternated between indie developers and then indie content creators. And I think that there's different perspectives that we can get from both sides that help to kind of paint the picture of everything that goes into making content on indie games in this space. So I'm excited to have Orbital today. I know that a lot of people are excited for this episode. It's everything that you want from it, right? It's a brilliant conversation between the two of us talking about content creation and what goes into it. I also had the pleasure, since we bring on a guest for each of these episodes, I had the pleasure of talking to Retromation as well, and bringing in my two closest friends in this space to just yap about Orbital and about his life and about him. It was nothing short of a joy, and I think that you'll have the same experience as you listen. If you're listening to this on podcast platforms, nothing has changed, okay? But if you're listening to this on YouTube, you'll note that my lovely mug is on the screen now, okay? Many of you said, give us the face cam. I oblige, I give you the face cam. Rito does not own a face cam anymore. He doesn't have a webcam to do it. So you don't get his face, but you get Orbital and I in all of our ugly mug pleasure for a good hour. So hopefully this new kind of setup works. Let me know. But hey, let's get into the good fun. Enjoy. All right. Do we want to do this?
I still want to do this, yeah.
All right.
You're the one with the questions, bucko.
Yeah, that implies that I actually prepared any questions for this.
What the hell are we going to talk about?
Orbital?
Or something?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. We're going to talk about our dear friend, the OrbitalPotato, who, I mean, I know when I met him. I have no clue when you met him.
I met him back, I met Rhapsody first, and we were doing Gungeon together, and then I met Orbital when we did For the King together.
Okay.
Not much after.
Okay.
And then For the King turned into the Minecraft series.
Okay.
So I knew him a little bit, but Rhapsody and Orbital worked together a lot before this whole thing.
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah, because I
met him through
knew
Rhapsody.
I knew it wasn't the Brewery series.
No, not for me.
Yeah. Now, how long did you guys play For the King for? It's a pretty big game.
For the King. I'm so glad. I love being on podcasts because then I can do stupid stuff like this and it can just be edited out.
It's perfect.
17 episodes at about a half hour each.
I mean, that's a decent amount of time. That was like several weeks of content.
Yeah, doing a 17 episode series in 2026.
Would kill somebody. Yeah.
It would kill a man.
Yeah. But that was 2018?
That was 2018 into 2019. Yep.
Okay. So you've known Orbital for 9 years now.
That bothers me, not because of OrbitalPotato, but because of that's a long time.
It's a long time, man. It's a long time. Do you think that he's changed in 9 years?
I think he's gotten a little more confident, but otherwise, no.
Cocky or confident?
That is a good. I think confident. I would use the word confident.
Yeah.
Like confident to be cocky as a character.
Yeah.
And just like, and I don't know. He seems like he's just more unabashedly himself, but that might just be being more familiar with us, you know?
Do you think that there's a component of that unabashedly yourself that just comes with time doing content as well?
Yes. Oh, yes. And really, I think it mostly comes with eventually not caring anymore.
Yeah, I think that's
At
part of
least,
it. I
I
think
mean,
it's
that's
part
me
of it.
That's me speaking from my end of it. The longer it's gone, the less I care. But also, that ends up being I am more me than I've ever been because of how little I care about the whole structure and process and illusion of YouTube.
Yeah. No,
Like,
Orbital and I had the discussion at some point, and it was how like our YouTube personas we put on are they're us, but it's like an amplified version of us. It's like we have the
yeah,
X gene of ourselves, and it's just kind of like a very condensed, very seasoned version of what Olexa and Retromation would be. And in real life, we're very similar people, but it's just like a dialed back version of what our YouTube self is. But it takes like a lot of time to get comfortable
yeah.
being that.
I would say that's definitely true, and
Yeah.
at least in much as I can say,
Yeah.
it is for me. Yeah. Wow, I'm looking back at my YouTube and seeing the stuff that I did with Orbital. There's a lot. I really undersold the gap between For the King and the Minecraft series. Let me tell you.
What was the gap?
We played Spy Party. Orbital and I did for a brief period of time. We were doing a weekly stream together, like kind of before the Wholesomeverse Live, even.
Okay.
Where we were just playing. What were we playing? We were playing Astroneer.
Great game.
Yeah, and we did a lot of that, and then we did Barotrauma, and then we did Minecraft. So
Wow.
yeah, and then ever since then, I've roped him into being my escape room pal.
You guys have done a lot of escape rooms together.
We've done so many escape rooms.
Do you have a count on like how many episodes of escape rooms you've done?
Let's see. Escape Simulator specifically, there is 60 from a specifically Escape Simulator, but we've also done like other games.
A ton of others.
Yeah. So like the We Were Here series, oh my god, that's I've said it to Orbital. I think I've said it in the series as well, but like some of my favorite content that I've ever sat down to record is the We Were Here series with Orbital. It's just, I feel like we just have a very good escape room mojo together. Like and that is a very, very good one of them, that game.
I've heard great things about the game.
It's good.
I feel like that someone you can do an escape room with and still cherish their relationship at the end of it
Is someone you should marry.
is someone,
and I have something to announce.
Yeah, it is someone that you should marry. I think it speaks a lot to the character of both of you. I mean, there's no denying that you two are two of my closest friends in the world, not just as creators on platforms that I met online. But it speaks to your guys' character as human beings when you can do an escape room with somebody and not want to kill them.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. It is a specific pairing, and I don't know why I had it in my head like originally, where like it was one of the first times Orbital and I did like videos alone together, was doing the escape room too. So it was like trial by fire communication testing.
Yeah.
In an extreme way, because these are not just escape rooms, they're like escape rooms where it's all about communication, because it's all about conveying what you see and the other person cannot. It's like that style of escape room, those games. So it's like it's high level communication requirements and like explaining what you see properly, everything like that. But it is funny that like I at the time we started doing that, I was very much like just roguelike guy, and Orbital was very much like strategy management. I don't know why we're still doing escape rooms
I mean,
all the time,
I
but it's but it's because it's like I'm saying, like from a content perspective, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Which alludes to the real fact of why we do it, which is just, it's such a blast.
Yeah.
He's very fun to spend time with, and I mentioned before we started doing this, and I think you mentioned too, like we get on to like we schedule a a time to record an escape room together, and it's like a 30-minute episode, and we know that, and yet it's always 2 to 3 hours of talking.
Yep.
It's like it starts with a hour to 2 hour warm up of just seeing, what's new since the last time. And sometimes it's been like 1 week.
Yep.
and we're still, we have the hour to 2 hour warm up to check in on
and
what's
he
going
always
on,
has something new. Like there's never a dull moment in Orbital's life. Like he always comes with something to bring up and talk about.
Yeah. He comes with a lot of questions to me. A lot of
correct. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a questioning guy, I think.
He's a questioning guy. I think he wants to, but I think he's a very inquisitive fella, and a very much, but like a thing that I do really love about Orbital is he comes to me with things that if he said things to me that if other people said them to me, I'd be like, that person's a jerk for saying this general thing. But like it's so clearly from a place of wanting to help and just wanting to see things go well for you. And it comes through very, very earnestly. And he gets away with it in a very, very good way.
I think, I 100% agree in every way, shape, and form. Without going into any increased detail, I agree 100% on that. But it's I think it just alludes to the fact that he's a caring dude.
Absolutely.
He just, if he always wants the best for all of us, and that goes for like everybody in the Wholesomeverse. He is always looking out for even people not in the Wholesomeverse. He's looking out for anybody that he talks to. A good guy.
I can't speak to that because I'm not there when he's talking to them, but I'm going to say absolutely.
Fair enough.
It would make sense.
Fair enough.
he's just a good guy.
Do you have you mentioned the We Were Here series. Do you have any like favorite moments all time?
Oh, God.
Racking your brain through hundreds of escape room videos.
It's like, that's a different guy, who was in those videos is the thing. So as far as a specific moment, not really like that I can specifically pin down. It's always very funny when he gets like extremely angry for like 2 seconds.
Yep.
I do. That's always a good time. I've noticed he does that more when when it's not just me.
Yeah.
but AKA with some Olenkies in the room.
Could be me. It could be me.
Could be you.
It could be me.
But I always find that those moments are very, very funny. But one thing I think about Orbital is he's extremely, in terms of like collaborative work or whatever, business. He's extremely not just supportive in terms of like, outside of the content, talking everything. He's a very, if we're talking like classes in terms of like tank, DPS, whatever the hell, Orbital is a support character.
Yes.
Like he is so good at building up the people he's with.
Yes.
He knows really very well how to build up the people he's with and get them to be their funniest as well. Like it seems like he knows how to mesh into a role very, very well. That is genuinely him, but is also just supporting, and he's not afraid to let someone else be the funny one, which is, I think, in the world of working with content creators and stuff, is not a given.
No, it is not.
Content creators love to be the funniest one.
Yeah. Most content creators, it goes back to having our best interest in mind at all times. There's a lot of selfish content creators out there. And
yes. And I would say he is absolutely not one.
Yeah, he's
yes,
not
he's
one
not
of those.
Selfish. But that's the thing, is that makes everything that he's in end up feeling
better.
way more
and authentic.
It's more balanced. Yeah. It's more balanced and it's more authentic. It's great. Yes.
Yeah.
I should call him. I should call him.
He's just a brilliant lad. Lad. Is there any inside joke or reference that I should slip into this talk with him that would get a rise out of him?
The oldest callback that I can think of that upset him was a simple question during the For the King series when we tried to ask him a simple question: what shoes do you wear? Like, Rhapsody and I were just talking about, like, what shoes you wear. And he put up, like, the biggest fight I could have imagined, getting to the bottom of, well, what exactly do you mean by, and it was a back and forth that went on for such a long time.
Sounds incredible.
I remember, yes. And it ended in Rhapsody yelling,
"Orbital, what shoes do you wear?"
And he just said,
"Ones that go on my feet." Like, what do you want me to say?
Like, after all of that.
Which is such an Orbital response.
Yeah, it's such an Orbital response. In that sense, not changed at all. He would 100% say the exact same thing right now.
Yep.
But, and I think that's part of it. Like, that also showcases it a bit. Like, he's not afraid to just... And that, like, even in the thing where I'm saying a favorite Orbital moment, I'm talking about a way that he ended up heightening a moment for Rhapsody that ended up being very funny. And I think that just brings it all back too. Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Rito, appreciate the time, brother.
Okay.
It's only a matter of time before I'm getting you on for a much longer discussion. So I know everybody would love to know more into the deep and intense brain of Retromation. So
nothing but trouble there, buddy. Nothing but trouble there.
Appreciate the time, my friend, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes. Bye.
Dan, have you been on a podcast before?
Only one.
Okay.
So
what was it?
It was with a game developer, actually.
Okay.
I talked about sort of indie marketing and sort of how to contact YouTubers and how to get the idea of a game across to people like us. And it was really good. Good chat.
Yeah.
Good chat.
Oh, that's pretty cool. This one's probably going to be like way worse for you today because it's just like you talking about yourself instead.
Okay. It will be way worse. It'll be a lot worse.
I mean, it's like we want to delve into your brain for like an hour, which is it's a terrifying proposition to go into, but the whole purpose is to know a little bit more about you, a little bit more about how you got to the content creating space, how you continue to evolve as a person in this space, and just, know a little bit about your process and your brain. So hopefully that sounds like a good plan.
I'm keen, and I hope that I will be able to pitch you a few questions as well to get a little bit more insight into this podcast process, because
now I'm terrified.
It's very interesting to me, and I really want to sort of see why you started, how we got here, and where we go from here. So you know what? Sure. It's a quid pro quo as far as I'm concerned.
I'm all in. So start at the beginning. Why did you choose to do YouTube?
I started, what are we in? 2020. We're in 2026 now.
Sure are. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, and all your lovely viewers. I started this channel in September 2014. So
12 years.
12 years. 12 and a bit years ago. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? That region. And I started primarily because I wanted to get better at public speaking. That was kind of like
Okay.
my initial goal. It was just to try, not for necessarily any specific reason. It was just, oh, this is a skill that successful people in the business world develop, and therefore I'm going to start playing Prison Architect on this YouTube channel, and that's where it kind of developed from there. And somewhere along the way, I just kind of realized that I really enjoyed making YouTube videos. At the time, the sort of trend was, to make Let's Play content, and I'm sure we'll get on to talking about sort of Let's Play content and the sort of state of content in general. But at that time, I started making Prison Architect videos because fundamentally I was playing on a laptop which was not capable of recording anything else other than slightly better than a moving slideshow, and that was it. I got some Xbox headset and I threw it into the computer and I just started recording, and that was the start of the process.
Were you using Fraps back in the day?
I think I went through every single screen recording software. What was the Camista or whatever it was?
Camtasia?
What is what? Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I used Fraps. I used X something.
XSplit?
Maybe XSplit. There was multiple that I
remember. I remember Fraps, and then there was like a Windows video editing tool or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Fraps only being able to do the 15-minute recordings or something like that with the free version, and then rendering them, because YouTube at the time, if you weren't a partner, you couldn't upload more than 15 minutes. So it was like designed to be around that. And I remember having eventually a video that was like 17 minutes and I had no idea how to edit it. So I just like scrapped the entire thing. It was like I just can't upload it. So it's gone.
Fraps was the one with the massive yellow frame rate in the top right hand corner. That was awful. The sort of it was the overwhelming memory for me of it. But yeah, no, that was it. I started making YouTube videos on that basis, and then I kind of just never stopped. That was kind of it, to be honest.
Do you think you got better at public speaking?
Hard to say, hard to say. I mean, yes, in some sense. I mean, on a serious note, yes, but yes in some sense, no in another sense, because I think the voice that you have to develop when you're creating content is so unique to the audience that you are trying to cultivate, and also just the people that you're speaking to in the sort of in your video. We maybe go on to talk about sort of like authority and being like an authority in the sort of the gaming space in our sort of like chosen niches, but I think there's a really sort of like unique voice to be found depending on what you choose to speak about and what you choose to do. And I think that I've just sort of developed my voice in line with playing strategy games and sort of that over time. But I'm not sure that skill necessarily extends out with the sort of strategy space, so to speak.
So you're not saying
yes
like,
and no.
At a business event, you don't get on stage and be like, all right, chat, what are we thinking on this stock today?
yeah, basically, who's buying Uniswap today, chat? Am I right?
Exactly.
That's not something that I would say at a TED talk. Put it that way.
That's very fair.
Put it that way.
Very fair.
But I think there's a lot of benefits to doing YouTube, and one of them is the fact that you just get comfortable talking to a screen, and I really think that that's a skill that a lot of people, I don't want to big up the skills that it takes to be a YouTuber, but it is a lot more challenging to talk about a game for 60 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is, than a lot of people think. And if you think you can do it, absolutely go for it. I'd encourage everybody to give it a go. But to give a conscious sort of stream of thought, commentary is a lot more work than I think a lot of people take it for.
It's also like physically demanding.
It's exhausting. It is very exhausting.
Like I know when I go like 2 weeks without recording, like I did recently because I was away on holiday, as you would say. I came back and it was like one video, I'm winded. Like I have to take a break, and then give me like, I don't know, end of this month, I can probably do like 8 videos one day and feel fine. But it's weird.
I mean, I did a video recently where I was recording for 4 hours straight for a single video, and it was edited down to just over 2 hours and a bit, I think it was at the time. But I mean, I was pretty much talking for for 4 straight hours, which is, it's not the most challenging job in the world, but it is as you say, sort of exhausting in that sense. It does take it out of you for
So
sure.
I gotta,
But good fun.
because you said it, I'm jumping ahead on my list of questions. I'm like all over the place now. You mentioned recording a 4-hour video and then editing down the 4 hours into like a 2-hour video. That's very different from kind of the normal style for YouTube and the normal style for Let's Plays in the year of 2025, 2026 now. I mean, like, having a 2-hour video, one, is tricky, and then having a 4-hour video that you edit down to 2 hours, that's probably different from the normal Let's Play that you have recorded for all of your life at this point. What kind of spurred that change for you?
Great question. Great question. I also hate it when people say great question, to be honest. I think this is such a cliche. But anyway, that's by the by. I will, for the vast majority of my YouTube career here, my Let's Play videos were like very, very heavily sort of segmented. You think of something like Factorio, like I did 100-episode Factorio series, and every episode lasted about 20 minutes, basically. That was it. The sort of point that I got to with the sort of games that I play is that you really just can't make much progress in a lot of the games that I like to play. Factorio is a great example, right? If a viewer is coming to my channel and they see, I don't know, any one of those 100 episodes, if you have a 20-minute snapshot, you don't really get much of a look into what the game is actually about at all. Nor do you get much of a look into what I've been building, for or towards. Hence why I just kind of started playing for longer and editing that down. But also just, I guess there was this tension, right? So it's like you either edit a 4-hour play session into 20 minutes, or you leave the 4-hour play session as sort of 4 hours and do it sort of as a live stream thing. I wasn't really happy with either approach, and so I thought, right, well, let's compromise in the middle, where you do sort of take the best bits, you do sort of summarize it down, but at the same time, you leave a lot of the sort of key markers in there. You leave the story in place so that it's clear to the viewer what's happening. For me, I think the sort of content that I produce, I'm really trying to show my viewers what the game is all about. And therefore, by leaving that extra sort of meat in there, the person that's watching can get a much better impression about whether or not they're likely to go out and buy the game, or whether or not it's a game that they would like to play, or whether it's a game that they would like to see somebody else play, or whatever it is. So that's why I sort of eventually settled on, I guess 2 hours is probably like my, between 1.5 to 2 hours is probably my sort of like average video length now,
Sweet
I would
spot.
say. Yeah.
And
I
like,
think.
clearly you're having success with it, because your channel has been blowing up over the last year. I mean, like, really, really blowing up over the last year. You've had most of your growth in the last year.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to say. It's true. It's true. I think the definition has sort of shifted on YouTube as to what success actually means. I think back in the day, it used to definitely mean sort of subscribers, if you had 1 million subscribers or whatever it is. Now I'm not necessarily sure that that's the real marker, just thanks to the way that YouTube sort of pushes videos to people that want to watch them. But yeah, look, by every metric, I'm very proud of the OrbitalPotato YouTube channel. I love strategy games. They're still good. Still play them every day. And I'm happy with things, how it's all going.
So, strategy games. Love strategy games. Did you always love strategy games? Like, what is the childhood gaming to... How did Prison Architect become the game that you start your channel with?
Prison Architect was an anomaly because it was the only thing that I could play.
On a piece of garbage laptop.
Literally, piece of garbage laptop.
Yeah.
Piece of garbage laptop. I didn't even know. I'm not even sure like what my first Steam game was.
I know mine.
To be honest. Do you?
I sure do. I downloaded Steam to purchase this game.
What was it?
Don't Starve.
Good answer.
Seriously,
Very good
I mean,
answer.
it is seriously. First game was Don't Starve. Second game was Undertale. I'm not proud of that one at all. And then third
cringe,
was The Binding of Isaac. So, I mean, I'm cooked.
How do I find out? How do I find out?
I have no clue. I'm not sure it's even a metric that is. You can check your purchase history, but I think that's. I highly doubt they even track it that far.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Okay.
But like, were you a tiny potato, 7 years old, playing strategy games? Like,
the first ever strategy game that I played, I have a distinct memory of it. I had a copy of Command and Conquer.
Okay. Yep.
Command and Conquer on PlayStation. Heretical to some, I realized that, and I played that. I don't know why. I think my father had it. It was my father's copy of Command and Conquer, and he had a PlayStation 2. It must have been a very early PlayStation 2.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Very early PlayStation 2, and I played it on the first time. But I remember the PlayStation stopped working, and we had this like PlayStation 2 that stopped working. And so one of my formative memories was going onto YouTube and exploring tutorials for finding out how to repair this thing. And it turned out that the ribbon cable that was between the button and the board had come loose. I can't remember if it was on the board or at the button point, but it had come loose. And so when I disassembled this and sort of like figured out what was going on, I don't know how old I was, like, I don't know, 7, 6 or 7, some like 7 or 8. I have no idea. I don't even want to pretend. But I figured out what it was, and I remember feeling unbelievably proud that I had fixed the sort of PlayStation. And from there, I played Command and Conquer, and I was like, this is magic. I also I hated playing Resident Evil, to be honest. My father had a copy of Resident Evil, and it was like there was like 5 pixels on the screen, like a PlayStation 1 copy of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is absolutely horrific. I absolutely despise this. I never ever want to see this again, because it was like blood and gore and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I hate horror, I hate gore, I hate all that nonsense. But I loved Command and Conquer. That was great. And all the sound effects are so goofy. It's like, when the guy dies, it's just fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, that was my formative strategy experience, and that was sort of what got me interested, got me hooked.
Do you ever? Is there a planet where you made your channel around other games? Like if you're playing games offline, and I only say this because I know that you're a very large Dota 2 fan.
Don't out me like that. Oh, that was. We talked about this. You cannot talk about that. Can't talk about that.
But like, there's other games you enjoy. So why continue strategy games for YouTube?
I think I really enjoy strategy games because of the level of strategy. And I know that sounds so redundant. I know that sounds so stupid and so redundant. And I know the games that you play have strategy as well. Like I'm not daft to that reality. But I tell you what, the reason that I really like strategy games is because the great ones, the ones like Satisfactory, the ones like Factorio, etc., have so many different ways of solving the overall objective. Like, here's the thing. Here's a twister. I absolutely despise puzzle games generally, right?
Yeah.
However, I absolutely recognize that each and every strategy game, each and every great strategy game is actually a puzzle game, like highly disguised, 100%. But I think that the reason that I love strategy games is that they are so far disassociated from puzzle games that there's effectively an infinite number of solutions, an infinite number of ways to approach any given problem. And the best strategy games are the ones that really do not limit your potential. And they just say, here's a blank canvas, on you go, do what you want, try and solve X. Those are the special games for me.
Do you think that relates to anything in your real life world? Like, do you find yourself to be a problem solver in real life? Because it's really what it is, right? It's problem solving. It's having some issue. I need more of this resource. How do I get more of this resource? Plot out a plan to get more of this resource. Is that something that you can connect to real life?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I've never really sort of thought about it in those terms. I've always sort of considered myself. I know we've talked about this before, but I've never really considered myself a sort of creative person in the sense that I think that's just why I don't enjoy puzzle games, to be honest. But I've always sort of considered myself a fairly sort of logical person in the sense that I would try and approach a problem, from an outcome oriented basis and then sort of work backwards. So I suppose that is connected in a sense, but I don't really think I've ever thought about it in terms of the games that I enjoy. The really big problem for me is Dota 2. First of all, just in life, it is just a horrible game to be
Yep.
playing.
Yep.
But it's also the best game to play because I think Dota is one of those games where it doesn't feel like a strategy game, but for me, it absolutely 100% is a strategy game.
I think it can be. It can be.
Absolutely. But the way that I approach it 100% is because it's like, well, you've got all of these different sort of considerations, which hero are you going to play? How are you going to approach the situation? A lot of games that I play, a lot of non-strategy games just feel very, very linear for me. And I just love the fact that strategy games sort of break that linearity. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
It is now.
So I've used it. I love games that break linearity, and that's great.
So, and I had it on my list of questions, and you gave me, you lobbed the softball, I hit it out of the park. You mentioned you don't think you're a creative person, and yet you've grown a YouTube channel that has 150,000 subscribers and is seriously, whether you like it or not, all about creativity and coming up with art and film to display a point. And even when you were talking about your strategy for editing down a 4-hour video into a 2-hour video, you sounded like a film director editing down clips. I mean, you're like, I need this part because that tells the story of the meat of the game and explains this and that and this and that. Why do you not think you're creative?
It's just not a facet of my being. I don't think. It's just not. I remember being at school, chatting to my art teacher, and my colleagues around the table in art, and we were all talking about like, oh, what would you do if you had £1 million? And I remember saying, I was like, I wish I could buy an imagination, and it was only half a joke, right? Like that's the thing, because for me, creativity has always been. I guess like a spontaneous revelation, in a sense, like almost a spiritual sort of thing. And I don't think that I've ever necessarily been struck with a sort of spiritual level of inspiration to do such and such or such and such or whatever it is. So I think on that basis, if you accept this is maybe too philosophical for the indie piece.
Keep it going.
But if you accept creativity as a sort of spiritual revelation, absolutely, I am the least creative person that you could come across. If you accept creativity as a sort of like systematic trial and error, improvement, evidence-based sort of system on how you can create something that you're proud of, yeah, I'm probably a creative person. But I think it really comes down to what you define sort of creativity as, I suppose. Definitely don't do art, though. I can't do art to save my life.
Oh, but you make thumbnails, which are art. You do sometimes copy my thumbnail design and paste over your
well, you see, I wasn't gonna
thumbnail, but
I wasn't gonna out myself, but thankfully you've outed me instead, so I don't have to out myself. Yeah, I mean, yes, thumbnails are a form of art, but I really don't see that as a creative outlet.
Thing.
I see it as a systematic thing. I really do see it as a systematic thing. As like my entire sort of YouTube process, I see as systematic. Which don't get me wrong, I don't think it retracts from the fact that I'm really proud of what I do. I really enjoy the sort of process of creating YouTube videos. I enjoy refining the process that I have. But I don't necessarily see that as a sort of creative process. Maybe more of, I think the better way to pitch it is maybe it's an informative process. The way that I approach it is, it's like, will the people that are going to watch this video get useful information out of it in the form of a purchase recommendation, or, information relating to how the game plays, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So you kind of see the thumbnails. The thumbnails are very like a binary ones and zeros. It's like, does this thumbnail help the matter of getting my video's point across? Not a thinking of it as an art form, right? It's more of a means to supply the video with the juice it needs, I guess.
Every thumbnail is a mix between informational and aspirational, right?
Okay.
And the aspirational part, I think, is probably better described as clickbait. In this day and age, right?
But clickbait's a weird word. Like, it's a weird word because clickbait
which
implies,
is why I didn't use it.
Yeah, it implies lying, and the reality is that you are not lying in your thumbnails.
Exactly.
In any way.
Aspirational.
Yeah.
Aspirational, right? It's like, the reason that I use the word aspirational, it's like, do people want to click on this because of their expectations? It's like, what are the expectations that people have when they click on this video? That's not up to me, right? That is up to the people that want to click it. And that, their expectations could be defined by, is this is this a game that people are excited about? Is this a subject matter that people are excited about? Is this thumbnail designed in a particularly interesting and unique way that is completely different from all of the other thumbnails that are currently popping up in their subscription feed or on the homepage, whatever. So that's the aspirational part. The other part, at least for me, the way that I think about it is, there's the aspirational, there's the there's the informational. It's like, you don't want to just have, with the best will in the world, you don't want to have a half-naked woman on a thumbnail about a strategy game, right? Because
some people might, but no, I agree.
It would be nice to have that on every single thumbnail, but I don't really think that communicates a message about strategy games.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think that there is, it's an imperative to have an element of the game in there, whether it's a Steam page asset or an asset that's been provided by the developer. You want to have some sort of grounding in reality. And I think we've discussed this at length, but I think the best thumbnails really do combine the informational with the aspirational, and you can have some really like exceptional thumbnails that manage to sort of combine those elements, and those are the ones that people really, really like to click on and enjoy to watch the videos, hopefully. So that's what it's all about. It's about feeding great thumbnails into great videos.
Yeah. So when you're making thumbnails, then, as a not creative person and not looking at them from an artistic perspective, how do you make the determination of, oh yes, this thumbnail is better than the previous thumbnail? Are you putting yourselves in the shoes of the viewer and being like, would I click on this? Or is there a piece of it that's like, I just think it looks better, and there's a little bit of subjectivity to it?
I go to youtube.com/Olexa and I just find the latest format that you've developed, copy paste right in, rebrand it for my game, change the words around a little bit. Perfect.
Little orbital potato in the corner and call it a day.
Exactly. You've got it down to a T. It's just like that. Look, I mean, I think it sounds so corny to say, but I mean, once you've been doing this for 12 years, I think the most important thing, if you are a creator, it's identifying what do your audience want to see, right? Not only your audience, what does the YouTube audience want to see, right? Audience identification is 100% the most important skill that a YouTuber, an influencer can develop. The ability to figure out what your audience want to watch, the video, what they want to click on, is an absolute superpower in this space. And I like to think that I have captured a fraction of that sort of potential, and I channel that into the thumbnails that I make and the YouTube videos that I make. And I think a lot of that comes with experience. A lot of that comes with being on the platform for such a long time. And a lot of it comes from the fact that you just have to be willing to adapt to the changing circumstances of the audience. We can maybe talk about the algorithm a little bit later on, but I get really wound up when people talk about how the algorithm is shafting people, because at the end of the day, it's like the algorithm might be shafting you, but at the end of the day, it is audience trends, it is audience watching habits that determine if your video is going to be successful. And so what I will always say to YouTube, people who watch, YouTube creators who reach out to me, do you have any advice? It's like, yes, make videos that people want to see. If you want to get your videos seen on YouTube, make videos that people want to see. It is so unbelievably egotistical to think that me, somebody who doesn't know anything about anything, can create a video and expect it to be seen by hundreds of thousands of millions of people, just because I want it to be seen by those people. That's not how it works.
Yep.
It's like people want to watch what they want to watch.
Yeah.
And part of my objective as a strategy creator is to supply people with strategy games that they want to watch. That's it. It's working backwards from that sort of point of view.
I think there's a very like humbling moment on a YouTube journey where you go from thinking that success on YouTube is luck to fully understanding that it's not. And I think that like many creators get stuck in for years, and I'm guilty of this. Get stuck for years in that, well, I'm getting a little unlucky, and when my videos do well, I got a little lucky. And the reality is that you can flip a switch and you can understand what caused the luck that you thought, and you can understand what caused it, and then go, well, that's not luck. If you just do more of that thing that flipped the switch, you continue to have the switch flipped, and it's not luck. It's work, it's dedication, it's motivation. I think motivation's a really big piece of it, and it's, as you said, understanding what your audience actually wants to watch.
But that's not to say that you can or can't be unlucky. That's the thing.
Yeah, you can.
You can be. I remember like when I, like 3-4 years into my YouTube journey, I had this video that blew up and it got 10,000 views, which is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And it was a video. It was a video called Sol Zero Mars Colonization, which was kind of like an isometric top-down Mars colonization, sort of like grid-based game. Wasn't very good. I don't know why it got 10,000 views, to be honest.
Those are the ones that always get them.
Exactly. But it was like episode 1 of a 10-part series. I thought, this is great. I'm now going to become a Sol Zero Mars colonization YouTube channel. And I made like 2 more series of this game, and they all got like 100 views each. Yep. I was like, what's going on here? The thing is, it's like, once, like, in hindsight, right? This is a super indie game. This is an indie game that nobody has ever heard of, like, before or now. I'm probably like spiking the rankings by just
never heard
mentioning it.
I've never heard of it.
It's not that good. Spoilers. It's not that good. But so like in hindsight, once people had investigated this game, and I was the top search result because nobody else had played this game, they had no desire to watch a second episode or a third episode, or lo and behold, a second series or even a third series. And that's just obvious. It's like, well, what's the point of making a second series, a third series, or even a second episode, for that matter, if people are literally just going to be making a single inquiry on YouTube and then moving on with their lives. Totally reasonable. But that's what the audience wants, right? Like, the audience didn't want me to become a Mars colonization Sol Zero YouTube channel. They just wanted a little bit of information about said game. That was it.
Yeah. You mentioned that you don't like puzzle games.
Yeah.
So this is a really good time to talk about it. We do a fun little thing on the indie piece where I talk to somebody close to the person that I'm interviewing and have a little talk with them about you. And that meant that I had a little discussion that is earlier in this podcast that you will not hear until it comes out. I had a little talk with our good friend Retromation about you. And he talked a lot about your guys' escape simulator series, where you have played numerous, I mean, like over 100 at this point, escape rooms together. And
Uh-huh.
he talked a little bit about you as a person, and it was very sweet because he kind of mentioned, and I love this quote. He mentions that you're kind of like the ultimate support in a game because you buff everyone around you when you're making a video with them. Like you are very, very good at making people better people. And that's a really, really difficult skill on YouTube to be that, because YouTubers are incredibly egotistical people at times. And you don't carry an ego at all. You are more than happy to do 88 episodes of Fortnite on my channel without ever profiting a lick from it, except for losing like $11 on a
No, it was like
Uniswap stock.
$100,
Okay.
to be honest. It was like
Okay,
$100.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. But I thought that there was an interesting thing with puzzle games and specifically the escape room, where doing an escape room with somebody, and I think that we have to. There's gonna be a wholesome verse meetup at some point in our lives, and we have to do an escape room together. Like
I agree.
me, you, and Rito in an escape room would be a crime to humanity to have that experience. But doing an
We got to
escape
make sure
room,
it's filmed.
yeah,
We have to make sure it's filmed
we
as
have
well.
to. We have to. But doing an escape room with somebody, you have to really have a good relationship with them and like good communication with them. And it's a very humbling experience at times to do an escape room with somebody. And Rito kind of talked about how it just comes naturally for the two of you. And part of that is being good friends over the years and having a long line of videos that you guys have done together. And part of it is just you as a person, right? I mean, it's how you think and act and react and work with others that makes it so easy. So I go on a long tangent here to bring it back to, you hate puzzle games, and you're happy
Yeah.
to do an 100 episode series with Retromation on escape rooms that are effectively a puzzle game.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. It's not about the game. It's about the person, right? It's
Exactly.
never about the game. I don't.
But that's you as a person. That's you as a person.
It's the same about Fortnite. Like
It's you as a person.
I actually don't like Fortnite that much. I hate to
It's
break it to
you
you.
as a person. This is how you are.
This is I don't know. Maybe it's just because my day job, I work with a lot of people who do have very, very large egos. I don't know. I don't consider myself somebody that has an ego. But I've always considered, like, if anybody is going to be the butt of the joke in a group format, I am 100% happy for it to be me. I will not, in Secret Hitler, I'm happy to get worked up. I'm happy to be the castigated outcast. I'm more than happy to do that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, there are people, 100%, not necessarily in the wholesome verse, just in life, there are people who take things very, very seriously.
Oh yeah.
And people who, if you're playing a game with them, for example, can't really sort of step out of the sort of in-game role into, back into reality. I've never really found that to be a problem, to be honest, because at the end of the day, I think if you're always sort of straight with people and just like, doesn't matter at the end of the day, then that's all right. And so that's why I'm not really bothered about people making fun of me in games or being a bit of a clown from time to time, because I think that makes for good videos, and I think that's fine with me. Like it's no skin off my back, so to speak. So yeah, it's good fun.
It's honorable,
good fun.
in my opinion. Like it's a really good trait to have.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
I mean, no. Oh, you're worried about this one, aren't you? Here's the thing about you. How different do you think? I ask this about me, not because this podcast is about me, but just because it's a general sort of like Kickstarter.
Yep.
But how different do you think I am in real life to my sort of YouTube personality? Because I think this is a very interesting sort of discussion point, is like, do we as content creators portray characters whenever we record, or is this our personality, or is it our personality plus, or is it something else?
You
Your
and
thoughts?
Rito are making this really easy on me because him and I talked about that as well. So it's flowing perfectly. I mean, it's flowing perfectly.
Okay.
For background, for those that don't know, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person.
It was my displeasure, actually. I absolutely hated
but
it.
I got the pleasure of seeing you in like your most vulnerable state too, because I went to your wedding.
Naked. Entirely naked.
Yes, exactly. It was nude day,
Yes.
and you invited me to see. But being at your wedding, seeing you in person and how you act with others in person versus years of recording with you on YouTube, you're the same person. I mean,
kind of
like
figured that. Yeah.
it is like cut
Yeah.
and dry. You are identical to your YouTube self. And I know that you and I have talked a little bit about the idea of like amplifying ourselves. So it's like in content, we're just an amplified version of ourselves. This is so much talking that I'm going to end this podcast later. I'm going to go into the other room. I'm going to sit down on the couch and I'm going to decay for like 3 hours to recover from an hour and a half talk here. But it's like you have a motor that doesn't end a little bit in person where you just go. I mean and it's one of the things that Rito also mentioned about you was confidence. Like you're a very confident person, and it's not confidence in a sense of like being cocky, but it's confidence in the sense that you know you. Like you're a very grounded person. And I think that's a perfect word to describe how you are in person is you're a very grounded person. You're a very passionate person. You know what you like and you're passionate about what you like and what you know and who you are. And that, I mean, I think that that's very similar to your YouTube persona, just your YouTube persona is amplified a bit for the occasional laugh, the occasional funny moment, and I think that in a lot of senses we are the same. Like it should be that creators are themselves, just amped up for a little content, right? That's my opinion.
Okay. How many clothes do I have to take off to become successful? I mean, you've seen my naked body before, so you know.
You could gain another like 25,000 subs probably just
Only
taking off the
25,000?
jacket. I mean, we're not. Let's not go that far. But
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's an interesting perspective. That's a very interesting perspective because I'm very curious. I'm very curious as in how people see me, and you must have got this before as well. It's like, how do people see you? How do people, not necessarily in a sort of vain sense, I hope this doesn't come across as vain,
No.
but how would you describe my, me or my YouTube channel to somebody else? It's like, that's how I sort of, I do think. It's like how do people who are passionate about strategy games say, oh, I saw this OrbitalPotato YouTube channel, it was XYZ.
Yeah.
I was like, or the guy that makes it is ABC. I was like, I'm very, very curious to see what that is, what that sort of conversation looks like.
So I'll flip it back to you because I feel like this is an interesting one to unpack. You've been doing YouTube for 12 years. In that time, you married your high school sweetheart. So
Allegedly.
So you managed to grow and nurture an entire relationship with a real life human being in the same time that you were recording YouTube videos. How do you think she views you as a YouTuber versus you as you in real life? Is there a difference, or is it a very similar thing?
I plead the fifth, Your Honor. I will say, I tell you what, I'll give you a story about when I first started the YouTube channel. I remember thinking at the time, I started dating my wife, my girlfriend, wife to be at that point, I suppose.
Yeah.
Started dating her, and then a few months later, weeks later, whatever it was, I'd started this YouTube channel. I remember thinking, I'm not going to tell her about this because this is so
She'll never know.
like so weird and so niche, and it's like, this is the thing. The way that I framed this to older people, right, who are like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't really want to talk about this.
Yeah.
The way that I always framed it is like, well, if I absolutely have to explain it, I kind of say it's like, well, the way that I feel about this is kind of like if I was your age and said that I wanted to be a DJ back in the day. That's kind of how it feels for me to be sort of like dragged over this hotbed of coal right now to explain that I'm actually like a YouTuber. I'm a content creator.
Influencer.
It's influencer. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. It's like there's no connotation of the word that doesn't sound unbelievably self-indulgent or unbelievably cringeworthy.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
miserable.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's how I frame it. That's how I frame it to boomers. It's like, I want to be a DJ. That's like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, we understand. So like,
yeah,
like literally nobody does it, but everybody wants to do it. Like that's the thing, and it's only gotten more so, I think. Anyway, I made this sort of thing. I was like, I'm not gonna tell.
And then she was like, "Oh, I'm playing Prison Architect," and I looked up on YouTube, Prison Architect, and is this actually?
No. I was not gonna say anything, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything until I get to, I think, was it 300 subscribers, and whatever it was, I was like, I got to 300 subscribers. I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna say anything. Shit, I'm just not gonna say anything. It's like still that's like nothing. And so I was like, I got to 1,000 subscribers, and then I had to go to her. I was like, I've got something to tell you. She's like,
oh no.
What? Yeah. I was like, no, it's nothing major. It's just I've got this YouTube channel. And she's like, okay, that's really weird. Why did you frame it like that? But that was kind of it. So that was a really,
knowing your
awkward.
wife makes that like so much better.
yeah. It was really awkward and
incredible. That's
strange
incredible.
moment in my life.
But she's very supportive of your channel today.
She is very supportive. Yeah, she's very supportive. It's really become, it's a weird thing, right? There's a weird, you'll get this as well, like 100%. And I think if you've been doing anything for like 10 years, even if you don't enjoy it, which I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it, there is this weird sort of like compulsion that drives you forward, like this commitment to do. The way that I feel anyway is like I always have I can always be doing something about the YouTube channel. I could always be making a video or working on a video. I could always be working towards the next upload. There is this real, sort of like driving force that just sort of constantly makes me feel connected to this channel, which I've grown and nurtured for the last 12 years. Absolutely. I know you get it.
Yeah.
I know you get it.
I listened to a podcast. It was some Minecraft YouTubers that I like, and the one had brought up, he was like, there's not a moment of the day where I'm not thinking about it. It's like it does not escape you. It's like you're laying in bed at night and something pops in your brain about your channel. You're waking up in the morning and something pops in your brain. Like you're always thinking about it in some way because there's always something to do, as you said, with it. I know that you are fortunately in a position where you can be part-time with work and do the YouTube as a we'll call it a job at that point.
Side hustle, sure.
Do you see it as a job, or do you, like, if you had to?
No.
Have you ever played the game Wavelength before? Okay, so in Wavelength, you're kind of given. It's a brilliant board game, but it's also it's like an app on your phone that you can download, and then you can just play it like in person with other people, and everybody just has the app on their phone. But they give you a like chart, and it's one side is one thing, one side is the other thing, and then they give you a bar that goes between them, and everybody has to kind of determine where that person would have put it. So if job is on the left and hobby is on the right and YouTube is the word, where do you put the needle?
Oh, I don't want to sound cringe again, but that is a really good question.
It's hard. It's a hard question.
I would reframe the argument. I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. I don't think. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I would do. But
Yep.
like, I just don't think job and hobby. I would. You know what? I would reframe it in terms of like commitment slash compulsion and um and hobby. I suppose. I really don't consider it a job. You know um certainly like more recently my attitude towards YouTube videos has been I'm only going to cover games that I really enjoy
Yeah.
and really think that deserve to be promoted, and therefore I'm going to make a real certainly my sort of ambition for 2026 is to make sure that I'm not highlighting games which I just don't think I would. Let me reframe that. I would rather miss a day of uploading, or 2 days of uploading, or 3 days of uploading, rather than cover a game which I don't personally enjoy playing. I would much rather wait it out, work on something else, wait for a good game to to
Because
properly
it
highlight.
shows. Like it shows in the content if you don't enjoy a game
Absolutely.
you're playing.
Absolutely, and I think it shows in in your audience. Like your audience are very, very in tune with what you play,
Mhm.
with what they want to see.
Mhm.
I think it absolutely all feeds through. So, yeah, I mean, I do see it as a compulsion. I really don't see it as a job. I don't necessarily see it as a hobby, but I just sort of see it as a way of life. That sounds so corny, but like it's just like this.
It's just part of
This
you.
is such this is so niche, right? Like if you've never made like
Yeah.
YouTube videos, I don't know. I feel like this is what it must be like to be addicted to some form of drug or something. Because it really is like I do genuinely feel like
Well, it's a hobby
a
that takes you
draw.
over. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah, I get it.
I
I
f- I-
Is there anything
it's
else in
crazy.
your life that you have that same
Well, drugs
desire for?
actually, funnily enough. I have a real, hardcore drugs
Real
right now.
hardcore
I've
drug
got a
addiction. Yep.
really, really
That's what
hardcore drug
makes the good
addiction.
plays in strategy games.
That's true. Yeah.
Gotta hop
Yeah.
on it.
You've got to hop on it. No, there's nothing like it at all. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for streamers, people who tune in every single day, but it's just not something that I feel like I could never really sort of stream full time
Yeah.
because, forget my, my hours, my ability to do it sort of physically. It's just, um, I feel like it would detract from my YouTube channel, which I just feel this,
Yeah.
this connection to. I don't know. Maybe this is what people think about having children or whatever, but like I have a tremendous amount of attachment to this silly little
Yeah.
slice of the internet.
Yeah.
It's just
I get it.
mine, and I've grown up with it for 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I
you
mean, it's
can't
like
kick the habit.
you reach a point. I think it's going to be really weird when we reach, and it's like near for us, but when you reach the age that you've been doing YouTube for half of your life, that will be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
strange feeling for sure.
And even this is something that I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
Retirement,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. Can you imagine
No.
not making videos for
Nope.
your YouTube channel?
See, it's hard.
This is
it's,
it.
It's really
It's
hard.
weird, right?
It's really hard because, and my community makes fun of me because I said a long time ago that when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I was just gonna quit. And it was because it was like at that point I like proved to myself that I could do it. Like it was very much like a personal goal thing for me, where it was like I want to hit 100 so that I can say I hit 100, and at that point I think that I will have been content and I can end it. And then I hit 100 and I was like, wow, I'm not content like at all. And holding the tiny little plaque, it's right
Fuck,
there.
It's not even.
It's right
Hold
there.
on. Yeah.
Um,
Have you got the tiny one, or have you got the big one?
no, it's a little bigger, but like it's still. I know you have a really tiny one.
I'll get it. You know what? I'll get it. I'll get it right now.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yep. Oh, on the windowsill too. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. On the windowsill.
Look at the size of this thing. I mean,
it's really
look,
small.
my hand is that big. I do not have a big hand.
It's really small.
It's really, really small. It's tiny. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. It's like I don't know if you can like
That's
hear it.
about
It's,
that's about the same as mine. I'm gonna tell you.
it's plastic
It's
tap.
not
and, like,
it's not made well.
I really thought I would feel something when it arrived, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
I hustled for 10 years for this.
Yep.
But to be fair, I don't think I really was that. I wasn't really that bothered at the time because, you know, it's not. Subscribers have never really felt like my milestone, right? Because I don't subscribe. Like, I'm not a subscriber. Like, that's everybody that does it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to think that, you know, you've got 2 times the largest stadium in the world of people that, subscribed you.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Mental. But it's not really my accomplishment. It's like, you got a little, you know, you got a thing for it, but, like, it's not really...
Yeah.
It's not really mine, you know?
I get it.
So
I do get it.
Anyway, retiring. It's like, I can never, ever... I don't foresee a world which, you know, I'm not thinking about or doing YouTube uploads to the OrbitalPotato YouTube channel.
I mean, you know me better than most people. You know me. I'm a like insane workaholic. I mean, like it's all I do is work. I can't imagine retiring from my day job and retiring from YouTube and just having a full 24 hours each day to do anything that is not like I feel like that I would get depressed. I think I would be depressed because I don't have anything to dump time into.
It's weird because I talk to a lot of people, you know, in my day job, and it's like, oh, what did you do at the weekend? It's like, oh, I did X. I went for a cycle. I went for this. I was like, oh, well, I don't say I spent it all making YouTube videos, but I near enough did spend it all making YouTube videos. And it's just a really sort of like different, a different way of life. It's a different way of sort of like considering things. But it's something that I've been thinking about, not necessarily because I plan to retire anytime soon. No, absolutely, you know, far from it. There's plenty of good strategy games coming out in 2026. But it's more just like, you know, there's gonna be a world in which I stop making content, but I just like to think about it because I'm not. It's an interesting thought experiment more than it is anything else.
Oh yeah,
interesting to think about.
The one that's in my brain like all the time is if I have a kid, it's going to be really, really hard unless I have somehow become full-time doing YouTube. It will be really, really hard for me to go, I would rather record a YouTube video than spend time with my kid. Like, that's just, there's a lot of time. There's not a lot of time in the day, and there's a lot of time that has to be bucketed out into different things. And I feel like as soon as you have a kid, the hobby bucket just shrinks into like a little tiny little bucket. And I mean, I even look at some of our fellow Wholesomeverse members that are dads and amazing dads at that, and their time is hard. I mean, it's hard to find the time to dedicate to YouTube at that point.
Do you think you have hobbies?
I think that I can claim that I have hobbies.
Okay, but do you exercise any of your time on those hobbies?
So I like playing basketball.
Okay.
I am going to end this podcast. I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to go to the gym for a half hour to play some basketball.
Okay.
I spend a half hour a week playing basketball. Is that a hobby? I would say no at that point. It's an activity that I enjoy doing.
It's an ambition
during the
towards
summer,
a hobby.
I like to golf. I will go out and golf. I think I golfed 5 times last summer. Each time was 9 holes. It took about 2.5 hours, right? So I spent a grand total of 10 hours last summer exercising my hobby of golf. But the reality is that the hobby that I have and do is YouTube, and I do that for 20 hours a week. So it's...
Exactly. It's the compulsion.
It's hard.
Compulsion.
It's hard because, and it's a time-consuming hobby. Like, you have to spend a lot of time doing it, or else you can't do it to its fullest potential. And I'm not the kind of person where I can half-ass it. Like I don't think that if it reached the point where, again, say I had a kid, right? I couldn't do the, well, kid's asleep, wife's doing whatever, I have a free half hour, let's record a video. And
Sure.
in the month of January, I upload 2 videos. I'm just not built like that. Like I would rather quit than only upload 2 videos. I don't know your opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know really. My ambition for this year is to get into hobbies. Is
Okay.
really to try and hobby harder, hobby hustle.
Give me a passion. Give me a passion you have outside of YouTube that you could find a project that you would work on for that passion.
My real ambition. So there was so at some point in the last 10 years, 12 years, I did take a 6 or 8 month break from YouTube, right?
Okay.
And during that time, what I really enjoyed doing as a hobby, was painting models, right?
I'm going to assume the tiny little miniatures.
No. Not that.
Okay.
Full on naked women, right?
Yeah, okay. I will tell you that of all the things I expected you to say twice during this session, naked women was not one that I expected twice. But...
No, little miniatures. Not even necessarily little miniatures. Aircraft.
Okay. Okay.
I'm big fan of aircraft. So absolutely in an ideal world, I would love to be able to do that more. But whenever you see, that's the weird thing, right? It's like whenever I sit down, I'm like thinking, okay, I'll do this. It's like, well, I could just make a YouTube video instead. That's much more productive. So why don't I just go and do that?
Yep.
And that's the sort of vicious cycle. So that's why that's kind of what's got me thinking about retirement. Not necessarily any ambition to do so, but more just like, what does the YouTube channel look like in 5-10 years? I always describe myself as a subsistence YouTuber, right? It's like I'm not necessarily running an industrial farm. I'm not getting millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. All I am doing is I am providing, I'm farming a tiny little corner of the countryside. I'm providing enough food for my family to live on, and I am selling that excess food, down at the market to allow me to buy some spare buttons and some cobbled shoes and all that sort of nonsense. That's what I describe myself as. I'm a subsistence YouTuber. But what happens after that? I don't know. Food for thought.
What kind of shoes do you wear?
Depends.
What kind of shoes?
On the day. Depends on the day.
I'd name a kind of shoe you wear.
Probably like rubber shoes, I would say, mostly.
Okay.
Definitely the sole rubber.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Occasionally leather shoes.
Brilliant. I bring it up because Rito was talking about a favorite memory with you.
Yeah, I know he's gonna talk about it. Yeah, I know he's gonna talk about it.
There was a For the King episode where him and Raps asked you what kind of shoes you wear.
Yeah, we had a long debate about what actually constituted a shoe.
Yep, I heard.
So that's the thing. I'm a big. This sounds flippant, but I'm a big philosophy fan. I studied philosophy at university.
Okay.
This is fundamentally a core part of my being. I absolutely adore philosophy, and I wish that I could read and enjoy philosophy more than I do, and that's be a great hobby, be a very, very great hobby. I just think philosophy is not necessarily the study of things to end all things. Look, you can cut this from the pod. Don't worry, you can cut this. You can get rid of this. I just think philosophy informs the way that we all think about everything.
Absolutely.
And I think it's even more valuable if you're able to study it and think analytically about philosophy, because then you get this really like meta level of like, how do you think about the things that you think about, how the things that you think about, which is just like philosophy all over, right? So reading philosophy books, absolutely an A-tier experience for me. And I love that I'm occasionally able to channel just a little bit of that into some sort of like flippant remark about shoes. And I love the fact that that's one of Rito's core memories. I think that's a really lovely sort of like experience, because that was so great. Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
I
Good fun.
I'm gonna be the one that says it now. You said you kind of see philosophy as a very analytical thing. Am I weird in thinking that philosophy is if we have analytical and creative on the spectrum, and you give me philosophy, I'm putting it on the creative side? No?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Philosophy is about explaining the way. Philosophy is
But
100%.
it's subjective.
Yeah, but sure, but it's a bunch of different perspectives about how we explain the world around us.
Who's your favorite philosopher?
Nietzsche.
That does not surprise me. That is the least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life.
Nietzsche and then Plato, probably.
Sure.
I would say.
Okay.
That would be my two.
So you studied philosophy in school?
Yeah, I did.
Do you regret that?
No, I adored it.
You loved doing it.
I loved philosophy. I mean, I think it's
what kind of
totally
classes
impractical.
do you take in a philosophy degree?
The one that really stuck with me. Here's the thing. What is an emotion?
Oh, I like that.
What is an emotion, right? Is an emotion a physical response to something that you feel, or
I think it's a state
the opposite?
It's a state of feeling for me.
Okay, fine. So that is influenced by external stimuli.
It can be. It does not have to be.
This is welcome to my world, brother. Welcome to my world.
I'm with it. I like philosophy too. I know very, very little.
Me too.
I mean, like I studied. What was your favorite subject in high school?
I didn't,
because you strike me as a math guy. Like you.
I did do math. Maths. Did not do. I hated physics. That was my worst one.
I hate physics.
Physics was my worst one.
That's the worst grade I've ever received in my life. I got a
me too.
I got
me too.
okay. Lower or higher 50% on an exam.
I got 45
okay.
on a physics exam.
Okay, I've got you beat at 32.
Wow,
yeah.
that's
yeah. I remember I took the exam, and then I knew while I took it, I was like, I got a 10%.
Chat, we're cooked.
It was
chat.
like I'm doomed on this one. Got the grade back, not surprised at the 32%. I emailed the professor and I was like, so like, how do I drop the class? And he was like, why are you dropping? I was like, brother, look at the grade.
32.
You were the one that put the grade in. Like, and he was like, just try to do well on the next one, and then we'll see what happens. And I was like, okay. And I finished the class with a C, and I moved on because I did okay on the next one.
Better than nothing.
But the 32%, I mean, like it is to this day probably one of my, like, if you ask me what's one of your greatest failures in life, it's that physics exam.
So I got 32%. So 30%, right? Getting 30% in a preliminary test is like the benchmark for dropping the course, because the school won't put you through the course if they think you're going to flunk it, because then it makes them look bad.
Yep.
So I got 32% in this like exam for English, like English lit, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever you call it. And I was like, fuck, this is like really bad. And I had like a little talking to, and the teacher was like, you should consider dropping out. And I was like, no. I really like English lit. Like
you're an avid reader for sure.
Sorry,
you're an avid reader. Like
I love reading.
Yeah.
I love the idea of reading. Big fan. So yeah, that was my sort of like really low
point.
moment.
Low point. Do you as an avid reader, do you have a book recommendation that you've read recently?
Depends in what genre.
Give me. I'm more of a fiction reader than a nonfiction reader. Give me a fiction.
Uh, East of Eden.
Okay, what's it about?
It is all about. Um,
Not a great start, really, as a recommendation, but
it's really it's a philosophy text. All the
what a
all
shock.
my favorite
What a shock.
all my favorite books. John Steinbeck. I only read it last year. It was absolutely brilliant.
It's the Grapes
It's
of Wrath
all
guy, right?
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
It's all about family that goes to California and like sets up a homestead, and it's all
I'm
about
shocked.
sort of like
I'm shocked. Yeah.
it's all about the way of life out there. It's absolutely glorious. It just it's one of these texts that just sort of like falls into you. I feel, and just the most glorious book to read. I loved that. I was totally blown away by it. It's been on my list for years, and I thought finally read it. I was like, oh, this is just brilliant.
Do you have a favorite book of all time?
Yes, but I will, for personal reasons, I will not disclose that favorite book. But it is. I will say, in the sense of, it is very, very similar to the East of Eden. East of Eden, in the sense that it is about a way of life. It is a philosophy book. It is about the sort of countryside, and it's about how everybody interacts in life. And yeah, that's all I'll say about it. It's
Very interesting.
I will speak to you off camera about it. It's fine.
That sounds very reasonable. Believe it or not, I mean, it's going to be wrapping up time on the podcast. I feel like we barely scraped the surface of things that we can discuss, but I'm sure that you'll be back in the future to discuss more things. I want to ask a weird question. I was going to ask you what advice would you give an aspiring content creator, but you actively said the exact words of if I had a bit of advice for an aspiring content creator earlier in the podcast, so I'm just going to skip it. So here's one that is completely unrelated to video games, content creating, anything. You like to travel. Like you're fairly well traveled in your life. Where is somewhere that is still like on your bucket list to travel that you haven't made it to?
It's very cringe. It's a very good question. It's a very good question, and I will say the United Kingdom. There are.
Okay.
I think this is one of the things that everybody does it, right? Everybody does it. You know, people will travel abroad and we'll have a great time in capital cities all around the world, but oftentimes we won't go and explore, the bountiful harvest on our own doorstep. And for me, I think that means, I'm a Scotsman, proudly so, I would hasten to add. But I think that means exploring more of Scotland and exploring more of England. Maybe not Wales, because they're weird down there, but like definitely more of England, definitely more of Scotland. I'm super keen to explore stuff that is sort of close to home, because very, very easy to overlook. Very easy to overlook.
Last question. OrbitalPotato. Where'd it come from? I mean, like it's a potato in space. How did
have I
that
told you this?
I've never heard the story. And if I did, I blocked it out. It was probably said in the Minecraft series, but I blocked it out.
Maybe. To be fair, you probably blocked out a lot of stuff in that series.
Absolutely.
So, the way that Total Biscuit,
it's right? Philosophy.
Genuinely, the way that I approached it, right, was how do I want a name to sound, right, when you say it. Now, this isn't a problem that you've ever had.
Nope.
Yep. It's not a problem you've ever had. But my issue was how do I want the name to sound, and I wanted it to sound like Total Biscuit, da 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 da. And so I thought, right, what do I want to have? I want to have probably a verb or a doing word as I would describe it, and then a noun, like a thing. And I went on to like some random word generator online. I was like, generate. I think until I found Orbital Potato,
Orbital
or maybe I
Potato.
came up with the Orbital, and then I was like, okay, keep refreshing, until you have it. But that was it. It's like literally my objective from the start was not necessarily to ape sort of Total Biscuit, was more just like how can I capture some of the
the same pronunciation, staccato nature of
exactly the enunciation of
Yeah.
Total Biscuit, of Orbital Potato. And I don't think Orbital Potato quite does it as well because potato.
So it was
Potato,
never
potato.
like if you had an online username, like if you were playing games before. This is basically me going Xbox gamer tag. Like what was the pre-Orbital Potato gamer tag?
It was like a series. I tell you, it was JKM2AL, right?
JKM2AL.
No connection to anything at all. And I'll tell you the exact. When I was at school, there was this kid who used to brag about how fast he could say his password and people still wouldn't be able to get it.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And it's he was a character. But anyway, when he said it, it's like some of the letters were like it was probably like JKM2AL, like that was part of it.
Yeah.
And I just sort of captured it. I was like, it's as good a username as any. And so that just became my username. This was like a guy that I spoke to like 3 or 4 times throughout my entire sort of school. It was just like this random encounter that I had with him.
Yeah.
One off. And it's like, okay, that's
interesting.
That's just random letters. But I was like, these are random letters that are as good as any. So
it's a very you thing to do.
What does that mean?
It's just it's a very like straightforward analytical approach. Like, well, here's 6 letters. It's good enough, and full send.
Yeah, why not?
As a person.
Why not?
Orbital, it's been a pleasure, brother. Thank you for being on the pod. Thanks for all of your insight and philosophical intake. And I mean, there's so many things we didn't touch that we'll have to have the part 2 at some point to continue to talk. But appreciate your time, brother.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And good luck to anybody who wants to make videos out there. Like genuinely.
The aspiring advice again.
I get it. I literally got it earlier today. They were like, my wife wants to make videos. What's the advice you have for him? I was like, just go and do it. Like absolutely go and do it. Like just see how it goes and do it.
I like it. Words of wisdom from the orbiting potato. So that's a wrap on the Indie Piece Podcast Episode 2. What an absolute joy to have both Rito and Orbital today to yap about life and about content creation. I got some big plans for the next month or 2 of the podcast, so keep your eyes peeled. I know I kind of mentioned trying to do 1 episode per month. It's gonna be a 2-episode month, okay? There's another one coming soon. In fact, at the time that I'm recording this, it's already recorded. So it's coming to you very, very soon. Keep your eyes peeled. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.